Horatio Nelson rose to fame through great naval battle victories, and after his greatest victory at the Battle of Trafalgar, the British people mourned him deeply. He had become in their eyes their hero, and one of the greatest commanders of all time. Nelson was born at Burnham Thorpe, Norfolk, a small village in the north of the county, on the 29th of September 1758. He was the third of 5 sons in a family of 8, and his mother, Catherine Suckling, died when he was 9, and his father, the Reverend Edmund Nelson, died in 1802. But his letters to his son at sea were formal and always affectionate. Nelson joined the Navy at the early age of 12 and was offered a naval career by his uncle, Captain Maurice Suckling, aboard his ship the Reasonable. In 1773, Nelson joined another ship called the Carcass, which was sent to find a passage through the Arctic to the Pacific Ocean. It was nearly trapped in the ice, and one night Nelson left the ship to kill a polar bear, but his gun misfired, and only a crack in the ice prevented the bear from killing him. A cannon shot from the ship finally scared the bear away. Over the next few years, he rose rapidly in rank, and was appointed captain of his first ship, the Hinchinbrook, in 1779, similar to the frigate seen here. This portrait of him was first started when he was a lieutenant in 1779, and finished in 1781 when he was a captain. In 1784 he met Frances Nisbet on the island of Nevis, and they were married 3 years later in 1787. She was a widow when Nelson met her, and she had a young son. Over the years that followed, Nelson rose rapidly in rank. He fought many battles, mainly with the French. He lost the sight of his right eye and also his right arm, but he still continued to write long affectionate letters to his new mistress, Emma Hamilton. Her husband, Sir William Hamilton, was the British ambassador in Naples, and he never realised the relationship between his wife Emma and Nelson, which rapidly became a passionate affair. In 1805, Nelson left his home at Merton Place, which he shared with Emma and his daughter Horatia, now aged 4, to go to sea once again. This time it was to fight his greatest battle at Trafalgar, aboard his beloved ship, the Victory. The Victory today is kept in Portsmouth's historic dockyard, and is the world's most famous warship. Still a ship in commission, she is a proud memorial to Britain's greatest naval hero. Built in Chatham Dockyard and launched on the 23rd of July 1765, she cost £63,000, equivalent to the ordering of an aircraft carrier today. She was built with fully seasoned great oak timbers and weighs 2,162 tons. The 104 guns are on the 3 gun decks, the largest on the lower deck, and she takes 850 sailors to man her. The 38 years which followed, before the destinies of Nelson and the Victory united, were times of almost continuous war and tension for Britain. The fall of the monarchy in France, the French Revolution, the War of American Independence and the rise of Napoleon kept Europe in uproar and England under constant threat. But by 1805 Nelson was a national hero many times over, rising through storms and battles to be a Vice Admiral of the White and a Viscount. He had scandalised society with his amatory adventures, but had retained the nation's trust. The Victory, also by now a battle-hardened veteran, was to be his flagship after her refit at Chatham. Napoleon ordered that Admiral Villeneuve's combined Franco-Spanish fleet make a diversionary expedition across the Atlantic to the West Indies before returning to cover an invasion of England. Nelson chased them there and back to the port of Cadiz, and the invasion plan was abandoned. The enemy fleet at last sailed south to support French forces in the Mediterranean, and on October the 21st off Cape Trafalgar, the Franco-Spanish fleet was sighted.
To say to the fleet, England confides that every man will do his duty. You must be quick, for I have one more to follow, which is for close action.
Your lordship will permit me to substitute expects for confides. It will be sooner completed.
That will do. Make it directly.
Within the hour, Nelson himself fell, fatally wounded.
Done for me at last. You're not badly hurt, are you, sir? My backbone.
Nelson was warned not to wear his decorations, as they made him conspicuous during the battle. A sniper who shot him was high in the rigging of an enemy ship, the Redoutable, which was close to the Victory at around 1 p.m. He was taken below, where he was attended to by his closest officers and friends. And Nelson whispered to Captain Hardy, who was standing behind him, "Kiss me, Hardy," while the Reverend Dr. Scott, who was Nelson's chaplain, rubbed his chest gently to relieve the pain. Dr. Beatty felt for Nelson's pulse, but he died later that afternoon at around 4:30 in Victory's cockpit. Before Nelson died, he was told of the successful outcome of the battle, but his death overshadowed all the rejoicing by his men. His body was returned to England in the Victory, preserved in a cask of brandy. First his body lay in state in the Painted Hall of Greenwich Hospital, and then on the 8th of January 1806 it was taken up river to the Admiralty in Whitehall. The banks of the river was lined deep with mourners, and the oarsmen of the large flotilla of boats struggled against a fresh westerly wind. Nelson's funeral was one of the greatest this country has ever seen. On the 9th of January, amid vast crowds, a huge procession of mourners bore his coffin to burial after a long service at St. Paul's Cathedral. The coffin was lowered through the floor to where it is now entombed in the crypt, and which lies directly under the dome. His body lies enclosed within 4 coffins, some of which are made of lead. In his time, Nelson became a national hero, as he had stopped an almost certain invasion from the French and Spanish and secured British supremacy of the seas. His country's finest tribute to him is his statue in Trafalgar Square, which, together with the column, stands 162 foot high. It is for the world to see and to remember him by.